I had a client spending over $5,000 a month on development team simply because they really didn't know how to cut short on unnecessary vibe coding skills. Now, we helped that client cut down that cost to almost zero. Now, Claude did the most work, and I actually did this using 7 specific prompts that most business owners don't really know how to use. And I'm going to be sharing all of that in the course of this solo episode. So I am officially telling you, welcome to the Founder's Diary. And it has been a long time, I know, but we are fully back. We took a recess actually, and we're back to the show. We're going to be giving you content every single week so that you kind of stay updated, especially with the rise of AI and cloud coming into play. We are going to be showing you the exact framework we are using in our business and also bring other hosts to talk about how they are actually implementing it in their own business. If you're excited, stay till the end of this particular episode and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It definitely helps us a ton and helps us to do more and know exactly what you like. If you have any questions, don't forget to drop it in the comment below because we read all of that and we try to do our best to ensure we are giving you what you like. Having said that, let's proceed. Most people treat Claude like a search engine, but unfortunately, Claude is closer to a contractor than search engine like Google that we are all aware that we've been using for the better part of our life, right? It does exactly what you tell it to do, and it gives you even more. So what happened with Claude is if you give it a vague instruction, it's going to give you a vague outcome. If you give it a specific instruction, it's going to give you a specific outcome. And that is where the power is when it comes to using Claude and even every other tools that you are going to be using as long as AI is concerned. And this is exactly what I call the 7 prompt playbook for Claude Code. And I use this across many clients that I've worked with. And I'm going to be sharing that with you in the course of this video. So you kind of have my cheat code of how I actually use Claude to run my business and the business of my clients. So let's go. So on this episode, I'll be sharing with you this 7 Claude Code prompt framework that you need to use in order to be very good at using Claude and actually get it to do real work for your business. Now, the first part we're going to be touching is going to be the role. Before you ask Claude to write a single line of code, I want you to be able to tell it what kind of developer it is. It needs to understand what he is going to be performing as. This allows Claude to kind of adjust its complexity, its style, even how it comments. So a prompt like this, you are a senior Python developer building a lightweight automation script for a non-technical business owner. Keep the code simple, well commented, and easy to modify. Now, when you give this kind of prompt to Claude, you are basically giving it a well-adjusted framework on how to perform. Then after doing this, you want to now follow up with the second prompt, which is what I call the constraint prompt. This is an example of a constraint prompt. Do not use external libraries unless I approve them. Keep every function under 20 lines. Write comments in plain English. This, I'm telling you, will help you so much when it comes to helping Claude not waste your token, explaining things that he should have just told you with simple words, and it keeps blabbing grammars that you personally don't understand, especially if you are a non-technical person like myself using vibe coding tools. You need the plain English. So I want you to always give Claude the walls before you give it the work it needs to do, because without constraints, it will pull in libraries and write complex things that you absolutely do not want or do not actually need in that particular context. Then thirdly, you want to be able to ask it to give you the step-by-step prompt. Now, this is the top prompt in the whole scale. Before writing any code, list the steps you are going to take and wait for my approval. This is very important, especially when you are starting out in vibe coding or you're starting out in using these AI tools. You have not built so much confidence in the productivity and the quality of work they do, or you have not given it enough information to give you that courage that you should allow this to run free will and actually get work done. You need this prompt to save yourself from wasting hours, wasting tokens, and burning the little money you're actually trying to save. So always ask Claude to plan before it codes. That is one big hack. This will cut your revision time the most. You see, the phrase wait for my approval is going to be doing so much work for you because you're going to be saving a ton. And by the time you start doing this, you will come back to thank me. Now, the number 4 prompt we want to look into is the error checkpoint. This is a sample of that kind of prompt. Review the code you just wrote, list any edge cases, potential errors, or things that could break in production. This is powerful. So after Claude writes the code, you need to always ask it to audit itself. This is very good. No matter how we hype these AI tools, believe me, they make mistakes. By the time you ask it to edit its code, it goes back in there and start figuring out a lot of problems and a lot of hiccups, and it goes ahead to say, oh, I think this is not supposed to be this way. Let me fix it. So it approaches the review as a separate task altogether. You know, when you are working in speed, you might not take into cognizance a lot of shortcomings that you are performing. The same thing happens with these models. So when you give them a task, they run through it, they want to satisfy you with speed. Most times doing that costs them quality. But giving this prompt that we call the error check prompt is going to allow them now sit back and handle the error check as a task on its own and try to make sure it gives you something that is 99% okay for you to use. And that brought us to prompt number 5, the explain back prompt. You see, this is an example of that. Explain what this code does in a simple terms, line by line, like you are talking to someone who has never coded before. Now, this is powerful. I want you to always ask Claude to explain what it builds in plain English. That's what I do as a non-technical founder. If you are not a developer, this is how you stay in control of what you are actually building. So now if someone comes tomorrow and asks you, what are you building? You should be able to explain without feeling too overwhelmed of what you are actually building. So when you ask it this kind of question or give it this kind of prompt and it comes out and explains things that you don't understand yourself, then what you should know at that point is that something is wrong and you need to now go ahead and reprompt and tell it, no, I don't understand what you're saying. This is what I wanted versus what you gave me. And these will make your workflow go so much faster, helping you save on tokens and helping you save on time and leading you to faster delivery in your product or your job delivery that you have from your clients. And now we've come to the prompt number 6, what I call the iteration prompt. This is a sample of it. The function on line 14 is returning the wrong output. When the input is an empty string, fix only that function and do not change anything else. Now, I want you to pay attention to that last part of this prompt. When the first version is not right, it is a total waste of money, your token, your time to actually tell it to start all over again. So having that particular statement, do not change anything else, just fix this particular problem I'm telling you, do not break anything, do not change anything. This will help you so much. So the word only is doing so much work on your behalf. It's going to be like telling Claude Code, okay, go to this particular line, only figure a way how to solve that particular line without breaking or starting any other thing all over again. Because the funny thing about the models are every single time they try to redo something, that is a new level of energy. That's a new level of token. That's a new money wasted on your behalf. And this is exactly what you don't want when you are building anything. The ultimate goal for we using AI is to do things cheaper and do things faster. Now, you might be doing things faster and wasting more money. And that's exactly what we are trying to help most business owners avoid doing with Chimney Studios. That is what we do as a business by going in, training these business owners, showing them how to implement this AI in the most cost-effective way and in the most efficient manner that actually makes them feel, wow, I actually did something amazing with my money and my time. And finally, this has brought us to our last prompt for today. And that is the final review prompt. This is a sample of it. You are a senior developer doing a small code review. I want you to check for security issues, performance problems, and anything that would not pass a professional code review. Be very direct. Now, before the build is done, you have to run this prompt as one of the last pass for you to ensure you are getting quality. The word be very direct is going to allow the model to start looking at things from very objective point of view without trying to please you, but trying to maintain its reputation. But without it, Claude edges will just go ahead and ramp over things and tell you they are all good. And guess what? You bring out this product and it looks so terrible that even a 10-year-old child can tell that you actually did this with AI. You absolutely don't want this, especially when you are working as a business using AI. So this is the exact quality gate that we run at Chimney Studios for every single product or materials we are creating for our clients. We have to use this to ensure that this actually meets our quality criteria, which we have also stated out in our system prompt and in every other big detailed prompt that we are giving to this model to actually work with. We put this so that at the end of the day, we can come back to look at it and say, okay, in all of this, how many of these did we actually meet and what do we need to change? Yes, one thing I want you to know, I want you to take this from this video, that when you leave this video and you want to ask yourself, what did I gain? I want you to know that Claude is not smarter or dumber based on the topic you are giving it. It is smarter or dumber based on how you are talking to it. And that is one thing I want you to take home. If you are a smart person who knows how to really communicate to this model, the models will act as a very smart model. So the way you communicate to this model matters a lot. And that's the conversation we are trying to have today. And I hope that this gives you something to go back to think about it when you're using any of these models and you want to really make proper use of them in a way that saves your business a ton of time and a ton of money. So here you go. That is the 7-prompt playbook. And if you want my complete guide that I give to other business owners to use in implementing this and so many more when it comes to using AI and implementing AI in their business, I want you to comment ebook in the comments, and I'm going to be sending it over to you. I'll also be having a link in the description of this ebook. If you're interested in using it and grabbing one for yourself, feel free to do so using the link in the comment. So yeah, we're talking about the role prompt, the constraint prompt, the step-by-step prompt, the error check prompt, the explain back prompt, and we've talked about the iteration prompt. And finally, we spoke about the final review prompt. So here you have it. Now you have all my playbook. Go ahead, use it, explore. If you actually enjoyed this episode, drop a comment for us, hit the like button, and share this video for others. This really means a lot to us and helps us to continue doing this. And definitely, I can't wait to see you on the next video. Do have a nice time. Peace out.